For those of you who forgot or don't know or don't care,
Raise my hand.
I've known these two
I saw that.
most of my life, and I'm really honored to be speaking here today. I want to thank everybody for coming and being here today to celebrate my mom and dad's 50th anniversary.
Yay!
They say that love is a symbol of eternity, that it wipes out all sense of time, destroying all memories of a beginning and all fear of an end. After being married 50 years, I'm sure it's often difficult for two people to remember there ever being a time in their life that they weren't in love with each other. For my mom, I'm sure this morning she was trying to figure out why she loved my dad. But this love story does have a beginning, and it's one I want to share with you today, so please bear with me and be patient. Mom and Dad first met September 1957 at Marquette. Dad was tall, skinny, good-looking 18-year-old freshman, straight off the Kansas farm. Mom was a beautiful, elegant 17-year-old, little, illegal, beautiful young woman from nearby, freshman also, born and raised right near Marquette. Only fate and the hand of God, of course, could bring these two people from such opposite worlds together. They met at a mixer, spent the evening dancing, talking. A couple of times after the dance, Mom and Dad would play bridge with some of their friends, Jim and Susie. Jim was a fraternity brother, I think, of my dad. And my mom thought my dad was funny, had a good sense of humor, liked to have fun. My dad, I know, was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. So near the end of their freshman year together, my mom was talking to my dad's fraternity brother Jim and said, you know, that guy Ernie Cody never asked me out. What gives? No money, he said. So Jim, being the nice guy that he was, takes it upon himself to arrange another kind of group date. And that was May 24th, 1958. It's a Saturday. And they got together. And by Memorial Day, at the end of May, my dad asked my mom to go stay. She said yes. So with the excitement of a new relationship beginning to blossom, my dad left Marquette for a summer ROTC cruise. He was gone most of the summer, but when he returned to school in the fall, he and Mom picked up where they left off, dating and falling in love. Over the course of the next couple of years, they would spend a lot of time with my mom's parents, who lived nearby. Dad proposed to Mom on Wednesday, December 7th, 1960, exactly 6 months before their wedding. They were in my dad's pink Rambler at the lakefront on the shore of Lake Michigan. Again, luckily, my mom said yes. Mom and Dad graduated from Marquette just about 6 months later, June 3rd, 1961, on Saturday. And at that time, guys like my dad, ROTC guys that were going to get their commission, had about 2 weeks to get from graduation to basic school. And a lot of them decided that that was the time to get married. These two included. Unfortunately, they were a little short or a little bit slow in booking a church, and so they couldn't get church on Saturday. So they were married on Wednesday, June 7th, 1961, at St. Sebastian Church in Milwaukee at 11 a.m. They had a reception immediately following at the Wauwatosa Civic Center. And I think other than my mom and dad, there are two people here today who were at that wedding. The first is my mom's big brother, my Uncle Dick, is in the back there. Say hi, everybody. And the other is my mom's best friend from high school, Faith. Faith, say hi to everybody. Mom and Dad took their honeymoon at the Wagon Wheel in Rockton, Illinois. From that Wednesday, the day they got married, through Saturday. And then they were off to Virginia, so Dad could start basic school. They stayed in Virginia about 8 months, until February 1962, when they moved to San Diego, Oceanside in fact, because Dad got stationed at Camp Pendleton. They didn't get on base until May of '62 because there was no housing available, but they finally got on base. While stationed at Camp Pendleton, Mom and Dad were joined by the first of the Cody children, Katie, who was born August 19, 1963. Where are you, Katie? Hi, Katie. 2 short months after Katie's arrival, though, Dad received orders for Okinawa, Japan. He left in February 1964, but not before leaving behind a little present for Mom. Now, here's Mom. It's 1964. She's now a single mom with a 5-month-old and pregnant. She moved back to Milwaukee to be close to her parents. 8 short months later, with my dad off gallivanting across Japan, my mom gave birth to the second Cody child, my big sister Patty, October 14th, 1964. Dad returned to the States in March of '65, and Mom and Dad, with their beautiful Irish twins, headed back to San Diego and Camp Pendleton for another 2 years. June 7th, 1965, this would have been their 4th anniversary. The United States Supreme Court decided the landmark case from your lawyer son, of course. Griswold versus Connecticut. Anybody? In this decision, the Supreme Court upheld a couple's right to use birth control. Wow! At the time, landmark decision.
They didn't pay attention.
Of course, being good Catholics, there was really only one approved form of birth control for my parents, and that was more kids.
You really are going all out. Unbelievable.
So are there actually words on every page of these whole things?
June 7th, 1966. That was the day, by the way, Ronald Reagan was elected governor of California, for those of you who didn't know your history. Mom and Dad welcomed Cody child number 3. Jim. June 14th, 1966.
There you go.
So here they are. They're married 5 years. Marital bliss. 3 kids under 3. And wondering, what could go wrong? Well, they wondered that until March 1967, when my dad got orders for Vietnam. Dad was sent to Vietnam, leaving Mom at this time with 3 kids instead of 1. Mom promptly packed up the kids and moved back again to Milwaukee, until March 1968, when Dad got to come home, safely. Dad retired from the Marine Corps shortly thereafter, and in August 1968, Mom and Dad moved to Fullerton with their 3 kids. We lived over on Woodbine.
Yay, Woodbine!
Life was good for Mom and Dad and their growing children. And on December 6, 1970, possibly the greatest day in the history. Exactly 10 years since they had gotten engaged, Mom and Dad welcomed the 4th Cody child. Yours truly. 6 months later, as Mom and Dad would be celebrating their 10th wedding anniversary on June 7th, 1971, the Supreme Court once again issued another landmark decision. You guys didn't know your wedding anniversary was this popular. The case of People v. Cohen. People v. Cohen was a case that said vulgar writing is protected. Mr. Cohen was convicted for disturbing the peace after wearing a jacket into a California courtroom that said, F the draft. And the Supreme Court overturned his conviction and said, he's allowed to wear that, and if you don't like it, you can just avert your eyes. 2 years later, just 6 weeks after celebrating their 12th wedding anniversary, Mom and Dad welcomed Cody child number 5, TJ, on July 26, 1970.
All right, that's me. Thanks, honey.
And so as 1973 turned into 1974, Mom and Dad probably thought they were done. They had 5 beautiful children.
So did I.
They celebrated their 14th wedding anniversary on June 7th, 1975, the same day that Sony introduced the world to VCRs and Betamax. Luckily, Mom and Dad's marriage outlasted Betamax. They celebrated their 16th wedding anniversary on June 7th, 1977, the same day that Queen Elizabeth II celebrated her 25th anniversary as the Queen of England. And then something amazing happened. On November 24th, 1979, just 5 months after celebrating their 18th wedding anniversary,
Thanksgiving.
Mom and Dad welcomed Cody child number 6, Sarah. Mom was just 2 months shy of her 40th birthday, and Dad was just 3 months past his 40th. 2 months later, in February 1980, with 6 kids in tow, Mom and Dad moved from Woodbine to this house, where they've been ever since. And in the 31 years since they moved into this house, they have celebrated some milestone anniversaries. On June 7th, 1981, just months after moving in here, Mom and Dad celebrated their 20th wedding anniversary as they watched Israel bomb a nuclear power plant in Baghdad. 1 year later, on June 7th, 1982, they celebrated their 21st anniversary, the same day that Priscilla Presley opened Graceland. On June 7th, 1986, Mom and Dad celebrated their 25th anniversary by renewing their vows and having a party. Many of you were probably there. And they were at Art and Donna Ring's house. For a single second, on their 28th anniversary, June 7th, 1989, the time and the date was 0123456789. That'll never happen again. On June 7th, 1991, they celebrated their 30th anniversary. And then on June 7th, 2000, 1 year shy of their 40th anniversary, a federal judge declared that Microsoft was a monopoly and ordered the company split into two. There have been some remarkable events that have taken place on their anniversary, but none more remarkable than this: being married 50 years. During their 50 years together, Mom and Dad have raised 6 beautiful children, watching them all graduate from college. They've seen the births of 16 grandchildren. Katie and Chris's daughter, Joni, Patty and Mark's kids, Bobby, who's not here, Jenna, Alyssa, and Matthew. Jim and Allie's kids, Lexi, Brandon, and Carson. My children, Heather and Alex. Heather's not here. TJ and Amy's kids, Ryan, Jessica, and Emily. And Sarah and Adrian's kids, Teresa, Vincent, and the newest member of the Cody clan, Sienna. Just in January. 50 years. Half a century. It's a long time to do anything, let alone tolerate the same person every day. It's an amazing accomplishment to stay married to one person for so long, especially when you consider how the divorce rate has grown in the United States. In 1990, the divorce rate in this country was 7.8%. By 1950, it had grown to 23.1%. The year you guys got married, 1961, the divorce rate was 25.8%. Turn of the century, it had doubled to 50.3%. I recently read that only 5% of the marriages in the United States make it 50 years. 5%. And despite the odds, despite the divorce rate, roughly 2.2 million couples still get married every year in the United States. I like to think that it's couples and stories like my mom and dad that inspire so many couples to get married every year. Inspired by the dedication, the commitment, and the love that 2 people have shared and shown each other every day for 50 years. And the idea that no matter how remote or unlikely, marriage can be forever when 2 people love each other and so much that they make the decision every day to make it work. So Ma, Pop, as you see here tonight, among your family and friends, pondering the great mystery of how you managed to stay together all these years, I encourage you to ponder a couple of other things. I want you to think about the feeling you first had when you saw each other. The attraction, the butterflies, the nervousness, the hope that the song wouldn't end just yet. I want you to think about the feeling you had the day you decided to go steady and officially became a couple. The excitement and yet uncertainty of what the future held. The wonder and hope that this could be your one. Pop, I want you to think about the feeling the moment that you knew Ma was your one. Mom, I want you to do the same. Think about the happiness you felt and the anxiousness of wondering if he felt the same way. Think about the feeling you had that evening back on December 7th, 1960, on the shore of Lake Michigan, as you sat in Pop's pink Rambler and got engaged. Pop, think about the fear and nervousness that only a man gets to feel just before he asks a woman to marry him. Mom, think about the feelings as you heard Pop utter those words, "Will you marry me?" Think about how time just seemed to stop, and it was as though the whole world stopped too, as you both instantly pondered this very moment 50 years and 6 months later. Think about the feeling you had, Pop, as Mom walked down the aisle. More beautiful than any woman had ever been before or since. Mom, think about how your heart raced as you recited your vows and said the words, for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, till death do we part. Think about the moment that you turned and faced your family and friends and were pronounced husband and wife. And after everyone leaves tonight and you're left with just each other, look at each other and remember how you felt that day in June 50 years ago, when you promised in front of God, in front of your family and friends, to love, honor, and cherish each other as long as you both shall live. And as you reflect on those promises, I want you to reflect on how much you've inspired not only each other, but your children and your grandchildren. Think about the marriages that you have inspired through your incredible example. Katie and Chris, married in March of 1992, just celebrated 19 years together. TJ and Amy were married in September 1994, nearly 17 years ago. Jim and Allie, married in March of 1996, just celebrated 15 years together. Mark and Patty, they were married June of 1998, just about to celebrate 13 years. Sarah and Adrian, married in June of 2001, just about to celebrate their 10th anniversary. Even me, I made it 10. That's 85 years of marriage on top of your 50 that you have inspired by your incredible, enduring example. It's nearly 100 when you count Bob Henry. Astounding. There's another saying that goes, tell me who you love, and I'll tell you who you are. Mom, you've always taken care of everyone, forsaking your own needs in favor of Pop and us kids. Your attention to everything, everyone, leaves no doubt my Pop loved you so much. He gave us life, you let us live. You kept us happy, safe, and rich with love in the presence of God. Pop, the adoration you have for your bride, even today, just spills out of you. You've cared for, provided for, and sacrificed for Mom and us kids. You protected us, you fixed things when they broke, and you persevered in the face of daunting challenges, both personal and otherwise. You have inspired me and taught me how to be a man. And Ma, you have never ceased reminding me that I am a man. As I wrap it up, let me say this. There are a handful of moments in life that are landmark moments. Learning to tie your shoes, learning to ride a bike, throwing your graduation cap in the air, standing at the altar and saying, I do. You've seen so many landmark moments in your life together. You've raised 6 great kids, you have 16 beautiful grandchildren. You've witnessed countless graduations, shoe tyings, and first bike rides. But each of those moments pale in comparison to this. The perfect moment when you look into the eyes of your one, the most loving, giving, amazing person you've ever known. And you realize that you have indeed found true love. A love that transcends all. So will you all please raise your glasses and join with me. Mom and Dad, I want to thank you for showing us all the meaning of commitment, the nature of understanding, and the very essence of true love. Congratulations.